Hello, fellow Riblets. How you doing today? It's a beautiful day on Friday morning. I had a adventurous time. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything to show for it. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. I know there's going to be others coming soon, but you guys are the first two to show up. And Sandy, I already know that you were the first. Okay, as you usually are, the winner. Ding, 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 ding. Of coming on with the Riblets. So I had to make a confession. I do apologize. Um, I didn't really have time to make my meal earlier, so I am actually eating my meal as we're going to be talking. Uh, as you can see, it's the burgers and the bacon. Hey, Papa Carnivore, how you doing? It's always good to see you. So I'm not trying to be rude by eating in front of you. I just didn't want to start my live late. So I figure it is carnivore, and people, look at Rick, he eats all the time. So I'll try to be very diligent with the with everything. You know, so this is the burger. Okay. I probably should cut it in half. Then that way it doesn't take so long to chew. Um, so I'm gonna put the things in the chat. Not the things. I'm gonna do something a little different because I'll be honest with you. I feel, like I do the buy me a coffee because it just feels like something that is supposed to be done. But I'd rather not put it in because it's pretty much the same people all the time. And if it was a bigger chat, if like I had a bigger audience. Hey Rick, how are we doing today? If I had a bigger audience, then I would then I would say okay. But you guys are already giving me so much. Putting it out now is like me saying I expect more from my riblets, and I don't. I think you guys have helped me and given me way too much already. So I'm not. I still have it in my for my videos and stuff, but I am not. I am not putting the buy me a coffee link on here unless requested. It's the only way that I will put the buy me a coffee link out. Other than that, um, you could always look at my videos and go into my descriptions, and it's right in there. Um, my video is lagging. Really? Okay, let me refresh it. Maybe that will help. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Um, still, if one of you guys can let me know, I will actually. Okay, so I believe I am back. All right. Hopefully this won't happen again. I do apologize. I have so many issues. It's coming up more and more with this computer. Uh, I think that it's, I know it's a memory issue and everything like that. It's just I've been deleting so much out of this um, and everything. It's just I think it's time that you can only clean something up so many times. So I think once I do the Boston trip, I think my next thing I need to save up for is for the new computer, and it might make it where I might need to cut back on my lives. So I do apologize on that. Um, I think maybe just doing the interviews and then trying to do the videos on my phone, even though my phone's kind of giving me some problems too. I actually did a long video today with a couple of short videos, and luckily I got the video congratulations to my nephew. He just graduated from high school, so that's pretty good. But I had a couple of really good videos, and I even did a video of me actually lightly jogging for about 30 feet on the track, which is pretty good because I remember I said that I'm sort of like that 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 housewife on Tom and Jerry that's running away from the mouse. Um, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that, and I saw that you guys were all watching and conversating with each other, and I do appreciate that you didn't give up on me. So thank you for that. I'm going to put it into the thing again if anybody wants to come on here. And maybe if it's only happening on my side, maybe that person can keep things going. But as you saw the big plate I had of burger meat and the bacon. I'm aching for bacon. Um, and I'm going to have another bite. I'll probably just have most of it after this live because who cares if it turns cold? It's good cold, right? So, um, how's everybody's day today? Um, well, I'm sure why I went only 30 feet. It was it was still a little shaky, Lisa, but but I did it. I was able to get my feet it was sort of like concentrating and just keeping that rhythm. You know, so that's why I say a light jog, but it's one step closer to being able to regular jog or to run. And I mean, maybe that's another achievement. It's like once I lose the weight, once I get my A1C down, and everything like that. The next thing is to thank you. I probably will eat it. I just but it was a lot better. Usually I eat it in the big pieces, but I don't usually. I'm not usually talking, so it's like I can like wait and everything. It takes that last bite, that first bite I had was a little bit big on the chewing, but unfortunately, um, when I went to download the phone, it's like, oh, you don't have enough memory to have all this stuff. So I guess I could have just deleted the big video, but I was sort of like, okay, I worked that hard to do the big video, so I'll just delete the little ones. And you know, I guess in order to really do my phone, I have to do one video at a time, and it might have to be shorter videos. That one video was a little long. I have to admit, it was a little over an hour. So and probably really didn't talk about much of anything. You and Rick are pretty much like peas in a pod there, Papa. You know. So I'm doing pretty well. Um, I am still, excuse me. No, it doesn't. Papa Cardboard doesn't end. Um, I actually have a delivery coming. I don't have any more of my bathroom issues, as you guys know. I mean, but I don't have the problems that were like really worrying me. But I still have a little bit like where I go a lot. It's just not uncontrollable anymore. So, hey Bob, how you doing? So, under Dr. Phil's recommendation, he said to get the sugar-free yogurt to help with the microbiome. So I figure I just got a few more of them. I figured it couldn't hurt. They're sugar-free and everything like that. And I made sure that they have all the, as good of ingredients as you can, because it's not about the ingredients. It's more about the microbiome and just getting my stomach back in order, as you guys know. Um, I had a pretty bad situation, and I just don't want to have that when I go to Boston. Um, so that's all good. With the sugars going down super quickly, the first time. I mean, I know, you know, Bob. I know the first time. Well, it happened a couple more times. So now with the new protocol that I was forced to do on my own, because no doctor would call me unless it's a carnivore doctor, and they're not my carnivore doctors aren't my doctor. So, uh, I've widened the parameters or narrowed them, depending on how you look at it. And last time I took insulin was yesterday at 7:30 in the morning. And before that, it was about 35 hours before that. So I haven't had one lick of insulin since that time. So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty good in my opinion. And it's even with eating, and it's not bringing right now. It is a little bit higher, but it's still not. It's still under my cap. So right now it's at 139. Like I said, I did a lot today, and it probably is asking for the insulin, but I am trying to get my body, where because I am becoming insulin sensitive. I think I am, and a lot of other people think the same thing. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Where did I miss in the chat where it's what is $5, Sandy? Oh, the that new animal movie. Yeah, I mean I want to watch it too, but I'm guessing it will eventually go onto YouTube with no cost. So give it like a few months and it should be on there. I mean, I would think. I could be wrong. And everything. I don't know. Right now I have too much going on, but I know what the movie's about, and I definitely want to watch it. Just like I want to watch all of them. I always like to watch them and see. Sometimes I get a little disappointed though. Sometimes I start watching something that I think is going to be supporting of what we do, and then all of a sudden it ends up being like just the way they talk and everything like that. It's like sort of like being sarcastic, and I don't really know any ones off the top of my head, but I've seen a few like that. Um, I'm like, oh shit, because I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I play them, for for my roommate, so he can see, so he can get like inspired, and then it says like, oh, it says like, we got to worry about, the cholesterol. You got to. It's like, okay, you kind of misled us here, But there are older videos. There were before, it started becoming popular. So newer ones should actually work. I know that this will be like very supportive of. Thank you, Sandy. It's playing nice and smooth now. That's good. Um, so what I missed it. What was 57, Lisa? His blood pressure? Rick, are you okay? Or are we talking about your age? Because I know you are 57. So I know it's up to me. It's my decision. It's one of the great powers of being an adult. It's just some of us were made to forget that, especially in the medical field, and that's I like being my own advocate for my health. It's one thing to get advice and to get opinions. It's a whole nother thing to have people tell you and strong arm you and force things down your throat. You know, um, and that's sort of how I felt, at least, and I'm sure at least 90% of you guys. I'm gonna say 90% because I'm sure Rick didn't really feel that way because Rick is 40 years carnivore. Didn't feel that he didn't have control, but a lot of us probably, thought the doctor was the god. And know your insulin after taking. Um, not really sure what you mean by that, Lisa. I'm sorry. Did you mean know your insulin after taking? Or do you know your insulin after taking? Actually, that makes more sense. Do you know your insulin after taking? Um, well, I mean, no. I mean, you can't really know what your insulin intake is in your body. I mean, I'm sure there are tests, but usually it's fasting insulin tests. So once you eat, it's a little. If you're like asking like what my insulin is in my body, if you're asking me, do I know how much I need to take? Well, there's two variables. I mean the thing is uh, the doc. When I told the doctor about my blood sugars dropping quickly, and I got advice, and I got information from many people. Um, very good people, by the way, and uh, well, yeah. Okay, so yes, the other day, which I mentioned already. I'm just saying the other day I've already, but I'm just with this content. Um, it was about 175, 177, like around there, like almost 180, and I had just like the meal I'm having right now. I had some burgers and I had the bacon and everything like that. I actually ate something, but yet when I went downstairs, I got a cup of coffee. I sat down on the bench for a few minutes, like for a little bit, and when I went downstairs, it actually went down to about 53, and from there, it was you know I had the shakes and everything like that. Hey Jill, how you doing? Okay, that's fine. Happy Friday. Um, my sugars went down pretty quickly, even with the meal. And I took the insulin originally um, when the first time happened, and it was suggested I lower my insulin. I would only take insulin if it was over 130. Okay, so I did that, and instead of going 14 units, I did 10 units. So I lowered that a little bit, and I did the Victoza at 2 point. That I didn't really change. I did that at 2.1. 1.2, and normally it was 0.6. So hey Terry Sue, how are you doing? You keep on running, keep on watering those plants, right? Um, so I did. So I did that. Um, when I went down the stairs, it went right down to about 53. Now, I'm estimating, so it could have been 57, it could have been 53. The thing is, the meter showed 70, but I was shaking. My body was like feverish, and it just felt really. I can tell when I have a really low blood sugar, and I can tell when my body shakes, and like it's just like, okay, I can't, my brain, it's just this horrible feeling. And unless you experience it, you don't know really. I'm sure Bob, and I'm sure semi-retired Bob, and I'm sure that Bob a Carnivore pretty much know what I'm talking about. But when your sugars go really, really low, which is something you don't want either, like you could like pass out at any moment. And so you want to be quick. So that's why I got the cookie, because it was quicker. It was a lot closer to where I was, and they've kind of been taught to know the signs as well. But that being said, okay, so I increased my cap. No, it's no longer 130. I don't take insulin unless it's over 150. That increased by 20 points. And I decreased my insulin intake from 10 to 7, and my long insulin from 30 to 20. And originally, long acting insulin was from 40 to 30. So 40, 30, 20, and then 14, 10, 7. So it's going down more and more. And the thing is it's pretty much like every 24 to 35 hours, 36 hours, that I'm taking insulin now. I'm not taking it with every, because it's too low. It's not hitting the threshold. And the sad thing is, though, is, when I called, the first time when I called my primary doctor, this was back when it first happened, which was like in May. His answer was, well, we'll wait, like just keep on doing what you're doing, and we'll wait until July for when you get your blood work done and see what's going on, you know? Well, like I said, Papa, any further than 7, no. 7 is pretty much what I'm taking right now. But it's going down as time goes on, so I don't see why it's not going to be um, lowered even more, to the point where it's like, what, like just, you know, um, I'd rather have had the doctor give me the recommendation. In a way, I did have a retired doctor tell me what he thinks it might be, and I had to make the decision of whether or not I felt it necessary, and I did, because I felt that if I kept up with the insulin that I was doing, I would crash. It's an injection, Terry Sue. It's regular insulin. You know. Um, do they have insulin in pill form? I didn't know that. I mean, like I know they have metformin and stuff like that, but I didn't realize they had actual insulin in pill form. Um, hey, Lexus, how you doing? I'm gonna just go. Yeah, I mean, you. I'm sorry to hear that about your dad, Terry Sue. It's it's not easy losing a parent for any reason, and especially now that you know that a lot of these things could be prevented. It tears at your heart. I had the same thing with my mom, really, but and my dad. I mean, I didn't really have a close relationship with my dad, but I probably would still, if I knew what I know now, I probably would definitely say, like, if a bus was heading for him, I would be like, get out, I'm good, sick again, LOL. I'm doing very well, and I hope that you get better soon, Alexis. So that's that. I'm going to put now again. I am not putting in to buy me a coffee. unless you guys do request it. And because you guys have given me so much already, I do not want to ask for that. I'm just mentioning it to you so then you don't wonder like why isn't it in the link, because because you guys have given me so much already. And like once my channel grows a little bit more and I have like a crap load, like Mitch does and stuff like that of followers, then that'd be a different story. But I'm not going to do it for you guys because you guys, you know, I'm I can't ask for that. Now I do have it in my chat on my channel, so if you were inclined, which please don't, but if you decide you want to, it's on my channel. It's in the description. Well, it's both. At night I take the long, and at short I take whenever, like right before the meals and stuff. And then I also take Victoza. That I didn't change. Victoza is still at the 1.2. Um, it used to be 0.6, and they moved it up to 1.2. But I haven't actually lowered that because I know that's technically not an insulin. But I do eventually want to get off of that too. But I have a few people that kind of defend it. So that's actually in the community. So I would just, I'm just gonna, now that might be something I lower down on, you know. In the morning, I took my first bout of, just trying to think. So, um, I didn't take any in the morning. I didn't. Oh no, I did. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm just trying to think because I'm getting confused now myself. Um, I did I take insulin yesterday morning? So it was like 35 hours. So it was more the afternoon that I think I took the insulin. It went, yeah, it was like later in the afternoon. It was like closer to, it was closer to 6 p.m., like 4 p.m., 6 p.m., like around there. Because it never hit 150. Like once it hits 151, that's when I would take it. So it never went there. Um, it was like 130, like the highest was like 135, 140, and it just never went there. And so yesterday morning, I don't think I took it at all. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know I didn't. I took it like more in the later afternoon, but at that time it was 10 units. No, yeah, 10 units at that time. I don't know. I took a little bit more than I had, but I'm going down to 7 because, yeah, I really should write down my rules of conduct so then I don't like go off track. I mean, I get sick plenty of times on. I mean, we've already known that I've been sick a couple of times, but I'm still pretty young. So maybe once I'm on carnivore for a year or so, maybe that will end. Maybe it's just not ending right now. But I have to admit, when I used to get sick, it used to hit me like a rock. Like a rock going down on the water. And now it's like just like I just feel it. You just feel some of the discomfort, and everything. So, I see you guys talking amongst yourselves, and that's cool. Well, and it gives me enough time to have another bite. So let's see what mail I have. I got a message from Stick and Butter Gal. What do you think she sent me? different doctors that are going to be on the stream. I think Dr. Chafee is supposed to be on SPG today, so I'll probably check that out. And of course, anybody, don't forget about the steak escape. So that's pretty cool. Well, I'm glad you're out of the hospital now, Alexis. So just know I'm doing very well. Like I said, once my sugars hit 150, then I will take the insulin. But last time I took it was 7. You know what? Yeah, I did take it yesterday morning. I'm sorry, Papa. 7:30 in the morning. I took the 10 units. Sorry about that. I guess brain function is not one of the things of being cured. Sorry, Papa. I'm off by a day or so. It was actually, I forgot I took it. I did take it yesterday morning, and it went down again. So that's why I decided to go to the 7. Because of what happened yesterday. Yesterday it went down pretty quickly again. So hello, No Slow.
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Just was about to take lunch and noticed that you were live and
Yeah.
thought I'd try something different here.
Okay.
Um,
On your
when,
on your
I
phone.
tried connecting a Mitch with my phone, but it didn't work. I think the audio was bad. Now I'm trying it from my phone, and it looks like I'm too close. Am I like
Well,
really?
yeah. I mean, you could probably back away from it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I checked. I checked it at first. I mean, how far back do I gotta go? It's
Um. Oh,
like,
you're now you're back, but you're. I always see the top of your head.
yeah, I
You're
got
kind of
this
like those old
little,
men in those cars that like can't
I got this
see.
little magnet holder on my desk here. I really can't seem to get a good position. Then that, like, hold that there, and then
Yeah.
back. See,
I
yeah,
think actually I see more of you when you're up when you're like going like this.
I'm holding the phone.
When you go back far,
I
then you're
just,
sort of
it's like my arms aren't long enough. Am I hold?
hello. Oh, there you are.
Am I still there?
Yeah, no, you're
Okay.
fine. You're good. I mean, as long as I can hear you, that's always good.
Well, how does this? This certainly can't be right. I mean, I see you
No,
guys do it all the time with your phone. You're holding it, right?
yeah. I mean, now I see your whole face, so that's good.
Yeah, I got my arm out straight as far as I can hold my phone away from
You
me,
need.
and it's
Uh,
still
I know
not.
you're with me. You need one of those like selfie sticks that just to kind
I
of
go
prop.
this way.
Oh, that's good.
All right, all right. Landscape is a little easier, but still, it's awkward to hold the phone at full arm's length
Yeah. Yeah, you
like
need one of
this.
those. You need one of those selfie sticks that have the tripod, so you can just put it right on your table or desk, whatever you're in front of, and just prop it and
Okay.
aim it to you.
As you can see, I'm still wearing my nightie from
I can
last
see
night,
that the Mitch Fit 90. Yeah,
but I got my teeth in, so.
that's good. That's good. I said that as a joke with Sandy because every single time people ask Sandy to come on, like, "Oh, when you come on," she's like, "Well, I'm in my nightie and I have my teeth out." So I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah." And she
But
she actually
I'm
she
sure she's
never
not the
got the
only one
joke.
though.
What was that?
I'm sure she's not the only one.
No, but she's the only one that says it.
Right?
so so she got the joke. So this is pretty
Anyway,
cool. So I was talking a little bit about like how I'm lowering my insulin intake and stuff. How but
Yeah.
unfortunately I had no help from a doctor to I pretty much had to advocate for my own self and do the N=1 experiment, and so far it's still going in my favor. But
Right.
so
I can see the difference, man. I've been
thank
following
you.
you since the beginning, and
Yeah,
great job.
thank you. I appreciate it.
You're another inspiration to me to
Oh, thank you.
stay
I mean,
at it. And
I have to, I mean, I hear that all the time, and I appreciate the comment, and appreciate it. But I haven't gotten there yet to see that, and maybe I'm like just very humble, and I won't see it, which is maybe a good thing that I'm not that arrogant. But
uh,
but I do appreciate it coming from you and anybody else. It's
yeah, and I seem to um, I'm starting to I'm starting to really feel the benefits right now. About at the end of last month,
okay.
I took a trip to Vegas with my son for 10 days, and for the longest time I was hovering at 350 pound ish, give or take.
Okay.
Right, I believe when I started in like last October or even September, I was experimenting with it. I had hit a all time weight high for myself at well over 390. I mean, approaching 400. I mean, I wasn't weighing myself daily, but I think
Yeah,
I got on the
this goes
scale
right
at
by
one
you.
point
Yeah.
and saw 394, and I was just like, holy crap. I mean, I was thinking that I was still around 370 maybe.
Right.
And then when I got on and saw that, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
mean,
yeah,
I remember. No, I can't attribute carnivore to this because I helped it way before carnivore even existed, even before keto existed.
right,
But I mean, I can say what I do contribute to it. But I used to be about 379. It could have been more, but on the scale, I was 379. That was about 20,
right.
25 years ago.
Yeah, I don't
And
even know like how accurate the scale was, considering when you
right.
get that much
Well, I
weight.
mean,
Like some of them are not even rated to go that high.
right, and the fluctuations. You don't know. Like, okay, well, yeah, today
Oh,
I weighed myself at the doctor's office. I was 379, but last week when I didn't weigh myself, I could have been 385. I don't know.
yeah, I would see a fluctuation of 10 pounds easily.
And so I did all. Like I contributed to, actually, believe it or not, I used to work security at the mall, and
Yeah, and you said you carried all those weights around with you.
I carried,
That's
and I think that helped out. And I also went low carb. I didn't go no carb. I went low carb. Like my low carb was like the 200 grams per day. You know, um, but comparatively, I cut the bread out. So even just that did a lot of correct. Did a
well,
lot of
I was definitely starting to feel mobility issues
yeah.
and whatnot. I mean, just your general life, like it just sucks when
But
you're carrying that much
you just
weight.
got to do whatever it
My
does. Just push that little bit. And
Yeah, my ankles were all swollen because of walking around. I do a lot of yard work, and
yeah,
I'd go out and mow the lawn, and then I would feel it in my ankles for the next 2 days. And then I had problems with my right knee for years, and that having that much weight really added to it. Anyways, what I was saying about that trip to Vegas, I was around 350, and Rick talking about the heart attack grill and all that, and I was like, 350, I can eat free. I'm right there. And I was joking to my son, and I'm like, we're going to Vegas. I'm like, I gotta make sure I don't drop below 350, or. But it turns out we never win.
yeah,
And but when I was out in Vegas, I did a ton of walking. I mean, just to go to the next casino over here, walking a mile, and and yeah, I did that. for 10 days, walking everywhere, more walking than I normally do. And I did a day of fasting too. The first day we got there, we did the all you can eat Brazilian steakhouse for lunch. I think the next day I fasted, but then looking at food prices and whatnot on the strip, it's just ridiculous. $5 for a coffee, so I ended up not drinking a coffee for 7 days. So I went caffeine free for 7 days just because I refused to pay that price. Excuse me, but I didn't even notice it. I didn't miss it. It was no big deal. Being a huge coffee addict, I was surprised. I didn't even get a caffeine withdrawal headache that I used to get in the past. So that was encouraging. And we did do a buffet. I picked out on the prime rib and the pork ribs they had there and the meat. But then I had some taste of some other stuff. They had a no sugar added strawberry sorbet, and I got that, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah.
Strawberries are so
Our desire
sugary.
for stuff doesn't end. I mean, I know some people say, "Oh, like now I hate it" and all this stuff, but it's like, okay,
So, anyways, I get home and I weigh myself. I'm like 340. I'm like, holy crap! I've been stuck at like 350 forever. It seems like, and I'm like, what was different? Well, I cut out coffee for a week. I did break down one day and I got a venti coffee at Starbucks and added half and half whole milk and heavy cream. 'Cause in the mobile app, you can only add one. And you can't like say more of this or less. It's just like add that. So, but I want more. Okay, add milk, add half and half, add heavy cream, and then I ended up even putting more half and half at the coffee bar. But yeah, so like actually 10 days, that one coffee. So I got home and I saw Mitch. I wasn't really watching Mitch for that time I was out there. And I saw he's cutting back on coffee and all that. And I was like, well, I've already gave it up, so I might as well give that a shot too. So I've been drinking a lot less, sometimes 1 cup a day, sometimes no cups a day. And then when I do have it, I do more decaf than caffeinated. I have an automatic espresso machine, so I usually fill it up with Starbucks espresso roast whole beans, and you hit the button, you get 1 shot or 2 shot at a time.
Okay.
I used to make my drinks with 4 shots, so 2 double shots, and then fill it up with. Initially, it was whole milk, and I switched to half and half, and then I switched to a combination of milk and half, and I switched to cream, and so then I was doing like all three
Right.
in it, and
it's
I was like, that's really good, tasty.
really, yeah. So
But now I've cut out milk altogether and do half and half and heavy cream. So like half and half of that combination.
yeah, I do. For
Um,
the most part, I do it Mitch style. I do it black, but occasionally I'll add butter. But right now, as you guys know, I'm not really doing butter right now because of the fat in butter. I mean, not the fat, but because of the dairy
yeah.
content in butter. So,
I'll tell you what. 2 days ago, I said, last night I discovered that brown
those
butter
brown butter
bites.
bites. Yeah, I saw
I
that.
watched Sean Baker's video there on like doing the sugar diet carnivore style,
Yeah, and oh
and
my
he
God,
did that, and so I tried it, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is so." I mean, I couldn't stop eating it.
they are
Oh,
good. Yeah, I mean, once I get my stomach fully 100% back, I'll wait just a little bit longer because I'm actually going to probably be doing the line diet in July, so the butter will be out of that too. But
yeah,
when August hits, then I'm going to reintroduce the
I,
butter probably and just introduce it slowly and bring
I
it
might
back.
do that with you, Thomas.
Okay.
You know, I think I said in the chat that I said, I'm going to declare July Independence Day of
Yeah.
heavy cream in my coffee.
Yeah.
And
So far, I've been away from dairy for about like a week. No, 2 weeks for the dairy and 1 week for the butter, basically. So
yeah.
I don't have the issues
What,
anymore. At least not. I
what
still
it,
have to go, but it's like more like just getting rid of all the crap that was in my stomach. Before it was like sort of like just because I had a bad,
mhm.
because I just didn't. The door kept on opening up, But
Well, and then when I got back from Vegas, since I was surprised to see that weight gone, that weight drop, I was like, all right, I'm going to cook coffee. But before I cut down on coffee, I decided to do a fast.
okay, how long did you
And
go?
the first fast, I still had coffee that day with cream, but didn't eat any food.
Okay.
That was the only thing I had was the coffee, and I drank the electrolyte mix that Mitch showed us.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the next 3 days after that, I only had nothing but water. And then I weighed myself, and I saw 333 on the scale. I was like real excited,
Yeah.
like
Whoa.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's like I said, it's so hard to get to 350 now. Um,
You felt you broke that
so,
threshold.
so, so like the last and recent memory, and I'm talking like probably up to 10 years. I think every summer I would drop weight, and winter I would put it on. It's just a natural cycle for me.
Okay.
And I remember probably the latest that I saw on the scale. I remember one day getting on and seeing a low of 347. But again, that could have been like as long as 10 years ago, at least 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
So since, in the past 10 years, I've been well over 350 and climbing, if you will. It's been that way my entire life. I was overweight as a kid, and briefly when I was like 19, 20, I kind of got skinny fat. I dropped the weight, but I was still like afraid to
Yeah.
take my shirt off at the beach because I was still just freaking flab. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
You
it
had.
didn't look like a healthy body, but I was skinny. I look at the pictures. I'm like, holy crap! I'm wearing like 32 waist jeans, and my legs are like skinny.
But yeah, you
But
just felt.
yeah, I was skinny
Yeah.
fat.
I get you.
And then it didn't take long to put that back on, the weight back on in my early 20s and whatnot. And then, it always go every time I would try doing a diet and I would drop some weight, I would always rebound and hit new highs.
All right.
You know, do another diet and exercise program, do it for a while, and then eventually rebound. And it's like, holy crap, now I even got to a higher all time high. Story of my life, you know. So you got to do something sustainable,
So
and I think this is
how long have you been carnivore? How long have you been? There's
well,
one
like I said,
you said
I remember,
carnivore.
I probably discovered Mitch sometime in September,
Okay.
and my birthday's October 7th, and I remember, um, like saying I'm going to start it on my birthday, or I'm going to give it a try, or I think I was seeing like how much what if I could put down some weight before my birthday. I think I had some kind of weight goal set for just a little bit and tried to eat mostly meat, low carb, really. But at the same time, I was starting to watch Mitch's video and starting to be like, wow,
Okay.
wow, oh my God, this sounds amazing. And decided, like, you know what? I think as like by the time I hit my birthday, I was like, I'm making an effort to do it.
Okay.
And it wasn't perfect at first. I was just like, I gotta
You're
gradually
not
like get
even
into
in the
these
middle of
habits.
it either. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, and so I was looking forward to this summer, like I said, with the weight loss that I normally get from summer. doing a lot of yard work, sweating in the heat, and all that. And but I told you I hit 333 after that fast. But you know what? That freaking like the weight went right back off. Today I weighed um 342, I guess.
Okay.
So
Well,
back up,
I
but
know.
now I'm
I mean, do you have other
good.
things like other issues besides just the weight? Like, do you have any metabolic issues or anything like that, if I may ask?
Um, not
That
really.
you
Like,
know?
I mean, something weird happened to me. Um, only things I used to have was acid reflux. I do like spicy food and all that, and I would sometimes get that really bad, especially if I had something like ice cream before bed. That seemed to be something like really bad for me.
I mean, the only reason why I ask is because Dr. Kilt has said a few times that he believes the reason why we aren't really losing weight sometimes is because it's the fat that helps us heal. And that maybe what's happening
Right.
is that there's still healing going on that you may not know of. Like I
Oh
think
yeah, I'm
why I'm
sure.
not super skinny, because my
Right.
diabetes had to go down first. My neuropathy, all this stuff that needs to heal, and it's
Well,
still healing.
I thought for sure I was probably getting to be diabetic, and this is probably back,
And it's
over
possible.
10 years ago. I went and got a physical and had it checked.
All
And
right.
I remember all my blood work came back,
Do you remember what
and
the A1C
and
was?
and, and no, I don't. But it's you said that I wasn't pre-diabetic. Whatever,
Oh,
everything looked good. So all the numbers were in the normal range, which is as you know, that's those normal ranges are.
yeah. I mean, the only thing is though is yeah, you might have not have had the sugars to show you're diabetic, and the thing is diabetes is more than just the sugars. It's also the insulin, and the insulin's not real. If they never did insulin test, you still might have been high in insulin. You just not been high enough to bring the sugars up, if that makes any
Okay.
sense. So
Well, what was funny with that visit, the doctor, he said all the numbers are fine. You just overweight, and so he recommended me to talk to a nutritionist.
okay,
And I had good insurance at the time. I still do. And so I thought he was in network, right?
right,
And I thought this was going to
why
be
not?
covered. This nutritional visit. I'm like, sure, I'll go.
Right,
Went to this lady, and what she did is basically handed me a mimeograph of a mimeograph of a printout or whatever off like a guide she could have gotten off the internet, whatever. And they had all the standard, food pyramid bulk crap, and oh, don't eat fat, cut down your fat, and you know what I mean, like don't eat bacon and eggs, or try to eat the healthy grains and like, all that. And I was like, I'm like, you're an expert in this. Not knowing
right,
anything about that I know now about diet, but just the fact that it's like,
right. Like it's
no,
well.
duh,
I mean,
everyone.
can you imagine, like, when you see these people and you know what's wrong with you, and you know that the advice they're giving you, you definitely know what's
Yeah,
wrong. You
I know,
know,
but at the time I didn't know it. But I was just like saying, this
you
is such
suspect it.
boilerplate bullcrap that's available everywhere. But here I am,
Right? I
having
mean,
a
you didn't
visit
know
prescribed
that
by
there
my
was.
doctor,
Yeah. I mean,
right,
you
or
didn't know that
referred.
there was something in the back of your head saying this isn't right.
I actually
You
walked out of it. So I'm like, really? I had to make an appointment with you to hand me this stupid sheet that it's stuff that, like, no duh, as far as like what everyone and thinks is a healthy diet: eat more salads, eat less fat. So,
right?
anyways,
And
I
and
ended up
and
cutting it short, and I walked out. Later to find out she wasn't in network and billed me for something like $350 for that appointment.
Of course. Of course.
I refused to pay it. I told my doctor, I read him the riot act and all that. He canceled me as a patient. And I said, good, because I
There's
don't want you.
thousands of doctors out there. You know, you don't need him. So
Anyways, I haven't been to a doctor since.
Right. I said
It's
before
been
about
over 10 years.
I just want to say I'm not a doctor. You know, I'm just saying what I've experienced and what I've learned. You know, so I just want to put that out
Oh,
there
yeah.
with YouTube and everything like
I
that.
trust more like our community
Yeah.
collaborators.
I mean, the thing is my suggestion to you, and it's just a suggestion, is maybe next time, whatever doctor you have now, see if he will do a fasting
I
insulin.
don't have one.
They never do.
Yeah.
You know? But you know, you always do like your own. I think you can actually do your own test too. Like, you know, just like do LabCorp and do it at home, you know, or something like that. So
Right.
because that would give you an answer, you know, on everything.
Another thing I found out is like when you go,
you're not really losing the weight is because something is healing. There's something else in you that is healing right now, and that just makes the most sense to me, you know.
oh, another thing that started getting bad, I did have sleep apnea. I was never officially diagnosed for it, but my wife would tell me that, you know,
Oh,
you
you
stop
stop breathing.
breathing in the middle of the night and I got to like shake you so you start breathing because I think you just died or something, you know, and
So
I snore really bad.
How are you with that now? Like today?
I, don't, I think it's fine. I don't. I used to
And your wife
snore so bad that I would wake myself up
right.
at night, and sometimes with the breathing would actually wake me up when I stopped breathing because of the sleep apnea.
Yeah. No, I know. I had sleep
But
apnea, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, I never went for because one thing I found out is like if you go to the doctor and they put that on your record. I mean, when you try to get life insurance and stuff like that, they're gonna have all that record, and they might. I was uninsurable when my company decided to offer us a life insurance benefit, and I wanted to like, you know, do like 2 times my salary, and I went and did it, and they turned me down and said, "You're not." I don't even think I got the company's life insurance. They just say, you know, you're too overweight. We're not going to provide the insurance for you. Of course, I work for a small company, and
Yeah.
but anyways, that was another reason I didn't want to go to the doctors. And you know, it's like all this stuff I could fix myself. I know the problem is I'm way overweight, and with that, it's going to come problems.
Yes.
And let me lose the stupid weight myself, and then if I still have problems,
You're on the right track.
then
That's
right. I feel great. Like we had the day off yesterday. I walked to the pool in our subdivision, which is probably a half hour each way walk. I walk slow though. It's a little bit hilly. And went in the pool and just did leisurely laps and just kept moving and stretching and yeah, and it's like getting easier. So since that walking, just adding walking, movement, do something like Rick says, don't sit still. Gets
yeah.
out on his bike and
Move. Yeah.
so and Papa is carnivore. He's like walking every morning,
Yeah.
and I was like, I need to do that. So everyone inspires me.
I just got finished walking
And,
from did about 2 miles before coming to
but yeah, I'm noticing the change now. Just in the past couple of weeks here, since that dropped down to 333
Yeah.
was huge. Even though I put some back up, but
I mean, it's wonderful.
I'm feeling great now.
Any other physical changes other than just losing, like going on a scale and weighing yourself? Like, have you noticed clothes fitting better? Have you noticed?
Well, the sleep's better.
Okay, but no,
I
like
told you, acid reflux
or anything like that.
Say that again.
Are your clothes loose or anything like that? Like, do you feel?
Oh yeah. I mean, before I went to Vegas, I started like going looking for a bathing suit and stuff, and I noticed like some clothes that I didn't think I would fit into. I fit in now. I mean,
Plymouth Rock.
t-shirts. I still like wearing like very loose t-shirts. I hate
Yeah,
form
but still,
fitting.
if you can wear loose t-shirts but yet go down a size, that has to feel really really good. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So like a lot more shirts that I wasn't wearing because they're too tight or they weren't long enough to hang over my belly enough.
Well, that's the thing. It's
I
not
wouldn't
really.
wear.
Yeah, it's the belly popping out. It's like this feels really. So you wear looser clothes for that
But I
reason.
can feel like the fat, how like during the whole process, where your fat spots are, pockets of fat and whatnot,
Right.
and you
So you get
feel them
like
getting
bulging.
smaller and like yeah, and it's funny like I get in the hot tub and I can feel all my fat like floating off my body now, like
Right.
literally, it's like I'm like the doughboy, and it's like before my stomach right here was very firm, really hard. My shelf that the cats used to lay on all the time.
Hmm.
Now it's like I can push into it. That wasn't the case before. So that's telling me everything's more loose. You know what I mean? When it was really
It's going to
fat,
keep on getting
my
better.
skin was stressed. You know what I mean? It was pushed to the limit,
Right.
and so now it's reducing in size, and so now I'm like jelly body. But as far as saying ailments that I had, I did have one thing that was very weird and concerning, and it started when I worked for a company, and it was kind of like a startup mentality, and I'm a software developer, and I took on this huge undertaking of a project with just me being the sole person to design it, implement it, everything. And I was determined to not fail this project. And then I turned out working freaking the craziest hours ever. I worked 7 days a week, every holiday. I got in the habit to be the first one in the office every morning. And my motivation was there was one unreserved parking spot that was close to the front door, and it happened to be next to my bosses, the owner, the two owners of the company. They had paid reserve spots like right next to it, and this non-paid spot was even better than their spot that they paid for.
Okay.
But you had to get there before 6 a.m. to get that spot, and so I made it. I was never a morning person, so every day of the week I was in there before 6 a.m. And then oftentimes I wouldn't be out until early as 9 p.m. And then like I would take a break on the weekends by only working like an 8 or 10 hour day on a Saturday or Sunday. So crazy. So life got so easy at that point. I only had one focus: get up in the morning, get to work all day, get home, eat and sleep. And
Okay.
that was it. I only ate one meal a day, and that was when I got home that late, just pigged out. I mean, nothing healthy or whatever, just whatever.
Just one meal a day,
Yeah,
so you probably figured, hey,
yeah, intermittent fasting I was introduced to at the time, but I mean, I was doing it wrong. You can't eat the
Well, yeah. When I first fasted, I wasn't really fully careful of what I ate because my mindset was, well, I'm not eating that often, so
right.
it doesn't really matter what I have in my body. I mean,
Well,
now,
I didn't plan on doing that forever, right?
right?
But it turned out to be 2 years because of some, you know, hurdles we encountered along the way and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I made it through. But what happened in that 2 year time, and during the day, I had that espresso machine at work, and I was having 16 shots from that espresso machine a day. I would have
You love your
four
espresso,
shot drinks
huh?
a day,
Yeah.
right? And so all this caffeine, and like caffeine would never like, oh, you have caffeine to stay awake. I could have 4 shots and go right to bed, no problem,
Well, of course, you made
right?
every excuse possible to have it. It's definitely.
But afterwards, so after 2 years, I ended up putting on about 100 pounds living that way, right? And then even worse afterwards, I thought I developed well, what's the no, not that. Um, what's the one when you fall asleep just out of nowhere?
Oh,
Narcolepsy.
yeah, narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy. Yes, because it got so bad. I mean, I could work those days, no problem. Stay totally focused, productive. I'm programming, designing. I mean, I would make changes to the software. Like they'd run it by my boss. He was the visionary with the software, and then he'd be like, "Well, what if we did this and did that and whatever?" And I would just implement all that stuff he said, which would normally it would take probably days or weeks to do. I'd have it ready for him the next day. It's just crazy intense workflow, and to have the clarity of mind through that process and everything,
Right.
was amazing. But then afterward, that freaking all went away. I mean, I can even now work a regular work day, and I found myself in the office literally falling asleep at the computer out of nowhere. I mean, I'll be working, and then all of a sudden I'm like waking up, like, where am I? Like, holy crap, how long have I been sleeping for? And it's like embarrassing because my office is right next to the owners. And I'm like, it got to the point where I'm like, people got to be seeing me do this. And then, and it's just like an awkward thing, I mean, no one's going to probably say anything to you because it's an awkward thing. But,
So I'm
and then,
actually sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
Gary. I'm actually putting this thing in
no,
the chat. It's good for anybody, but this is actually more for you. I'd like to hear more about your story, if that's okay. I like to hear more about what you're saying and everything like that. And I have a feeling that you have a lot
sure.
to tell. So I'm giving you my email address. That if
Okay.
you're interested, email me at that address. Okay, and we'll set. I won't be able to really set anything until like probably like later in August or early September. But
Oh, yeah.
but what I do, did you see my interview with Helen and Amy at all?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but
That's
I
fine.
plan on it.
I usually
One was like over 2 hours,
about
wasn't it?
two
Like two
hours
and a
for
half
my
hours.
guest. Yeah. Well, I usually set about 2 hours for my guests. But the stage is theirs. So I like to be able to give you that opportunity to tell your story in any way that you want. And you can still talk now. I'm just saying I want you to be able to
Right, right.
more time. So I would really like to have you on there. If anybody else is interested, it's in the chat right now. The same thing. Copy down the email, and just be like, hey. And so far, I've had 3 people. Well, technically, I also had Rick and Booby Goats, but I want to get them on again to give them their own time. They kind of shared the time. But Lewis was on, Amy Hosp, and Helen. For All for Jesus Carnivore was or Carnivore Jesus or whatever was on here, and it was a pretty good show. And I'm having a couple other people on, actually 3 other people. So I like to add you into the mix and
Yeah.
give you
I
your own.
wasn't joking when I said that last night. I'm having a hard time keeping up with your channel, man.
It's all good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like to, I'm having some really good people that are going to be on next time. My next guest is going to be Lexus Jones. So I'm excited to see her and hear her story, and then a couple other people, including
What
Lash. Actually, I'm supposed to be working with him.
one difference I noticed with you, Thomas, is that you speak faster. Because I used to watch your videos at like 1.5x speed and whatever, and it'd be fine, right? It's like now it's
Well,
like
not
I put it
slow
on the
anymore.
speed. I'm like, he's talking too fast now. I don't. He's going on longer. He's talking faster, and
Well, it's because I have
so
everything
I'm,
running in my head.
I'm like, that's got to be carnivore. He's got mental clarity now, and his mood's improved, and it's
It's like
great.
slow down. That's funny.
But
But yeah, I mean, so I like to, just give me a quick email, and I'll once you do that,
sure.
then I'll send you an email of what days I have open. 'Cause I usually do it every 2 weeks, like twice a month. So we'll set the time, and then you just tell me if it's appropriate for you, and we'll work to each other's advantage. Not
Okay.
just you know,
Since COVID, I've worked from home,
yeah.
and
Because I mean,
I'm in a small.
one of the biggest things, and the reason why I'm doing this is because one of the biggest things that like I had the toe lost, I had all this stuff happen to me, but the biggest thing that really hurt me was every single time I tried to talk about it, try to put my story out there to people, I was shunned. I was like, shut up, we don't want to hear it. And that sort of made me feel really.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for everybody else. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for Sandy. I don't want that for Terry, Terry Sue, nobody. And I think our stories is
Mhm.
important here, and it's what's going to get us to realize what's going on. And so I want everybody to be able to tell their story. And yes, I do want other people on there as a little bit more like doctors and stuff like that, because then they can tell us like, well, why is this working for us? They can be more of like the explanation of the whole thing, and they can tell their stories as well. But I do want
Right.
and
And
there's no
I find just listening to these live streams and whatnot, you pick up tidbits all
yeah,
the time.
yeah. But one of
And
and the reason why I give that much time is because every live I've done an interview on, it's always been like pretty much the max 1 hour. And it's like, yeah, you're telling your story and you're getting a lot out, but there's not, like it's, like I want to get like I give 2 hours basically. Now, if you don't need 2 hours, that's fine. We can add the thing in the chat again and do a roundtable, or just talk and and do questions and all that stuff. But you have 2 hours to do your story, and
gotcha.
that gives you a lot more, I think, a more leeway, a lot more, you know, in my
Right.
opinion, you know. So yeah,
Well, the one thing I never discovered, back to that sleep issue, it got so bad where I couldn't drive anymore, or couldn't drive like on road trips for sure. And my family would be like I'd be like, no problem, don't worry about it. Waking up driving, I got it. They're like, no, it's bad. You shouldn't be behind the wheel. And but that has gone away. Um, I mean, I still occasionally get tired, and I'll be sitting at my computer, and in the afternoon I might get a little tired and doze off, but it's more of a natural doze off, not like a light switch, like it came out of nowhere and just like, you know what I mean? It got to the point I was in actual meetings when the meetings would be like real boring. And in our company, we had like a boardroom, a big oval table that could seat like maybe 15 people around it. And we'd have meetings, and I'd have like the two owners of the company, and they'd be talking like something like didn't really interest me. It was just talk about our stuff. They just had me in there in case they needed to ask me something or whatever. And I found myself literally fighting, fighting for my life to not fall asleep at the board table in front of the owners of the company and everyone else.
yeah.
And I would still find myself like losing that battle. I'm like, oh my god,
It's a whole different thing because you're like your clarity's not there, and you're like kind of like wandering around.
yeah, it was just like, and then other meetings where wasn't as important, wasn't with the owners or whatever. Other people like noticed me. It's like, and then I said something to the owner like afterwards, and it's like, oh, he's falling asleep at meetings, like he doesn't care about them, and it's like, yeah, it got bad, but I mean, the only thing I the best I could figure out was the effects of all that caffeine over and that maybe I burned out my adrenal glands or something to do because
Yeah.
whatever I did searching, they said, well, they could be related to adrenal issues or hormone, or I don't know. I never figured it out. I never went to a doctor for that. Um, but again, and also the weight. I experienced new things I had never had because I was at all new time highs in my weight. And it's like, look, before you try to go to a doctor and fix it, do what's natural and lose weight to fix issues. Because yeah, my mother was, you know, had many lifetime subscriptions with big pharma that was just ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her slate should have been wiped clean so many times because of just one doctor's this, prescribes this, our specialist this, that, and all that, and it's like that can't be healthy. Taking
Yeah.
that many drugs every day,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So I just want to put out there, just put this on the on the thing. Terry, this is to Terry Sue, and again, anybody out there, the 2 hours that I have you come on, we just set the schedule, just like I told Gary, but that 2 hours is your time. If you want to talk for just 10 minutes and you want to do roundtable the rest of the time, that is totally up to you. You know,
yeah. Terry, get on here. I want to see that pretty smile.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I'm
I
telling
didn't hear.
Terry, I'm talking to Terry. You got to get on here. I want to see her pretty smile.
Yes. Yeah. So don't, like, I don't believe that you don't have anything to tell. I think you have a lot to tell. And, I think that people want to hear it, and everything. So, and you've been on here before, just like Gary is on right now. So, just come on, relax. If you want to, like, play poker, we can play poker, whatever you want to do, and you would win every time because I'm not a very good poker player. So, but just whatever you want to do, but it would just, and this again, this goes for Lisa, this goes for Gary here, this goes for Bill, anybody. Just copy down my email address. We'll set a time. It's pretty much like twice a month. Already, I'm booked up until August, the first 2 weeks of August. So probably won't start until the second part of August. But and eventually I'll go even more often, so that will increase. But this is pretty much what's working for me, and But I set the 2 hours so that you could set the amount of time you want to give, and I figure it becomes really fair to you. So don't think that you have to tell 2 hours of your story. You don't. Not everybody has that much of a story, and some people have so much of it that even 2 hours isn't enough. But
Yeah, speaking of which, I wasn't planning on staying long. I just wanted to turn on my phone and say hi
yeah,
before I
well,
went and made
I
cook,
think
cooking some bacon.
I'm getting the Rick effect. Where you go on for just a few minutes with his channel, and you end up staying on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's happening here. But yeah, I mean, I'm very glad that you came on. I'm always grateful for everybody that comes
Thanks
on.
for having me.
I mean, you're always welcome. All of you are always welcome. And I mean, yeah, I'm going to probably be ending the live soon. I'm going to put one more time into the chats the link to come on here, just in case you got that one person that just wants to come on and be like and do jumping jacks or something. So
Yeah, so with that, I'll jump off, and maybe someone else will jump on for a second just to say hey.
yeah,
If they were not thinking of doing it, do it. That's your excuse is that he's cutting it short, so you won't be long. You won't have to do it for long. Try out that phone
I'm pretty
and
easy
feature
for
if
the
you never
moment.
did it before.
Don't be afraid of me, okay?
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Gary. I
All right,
appreciate it.
man. I'll see you. And like you said, how do we get out of these things? That's what
Well,
everyone
you
has
just
a
move
problem
from
with, right?
person to person. Usually, they find the exit somewhere. I'm never sure where it's at because it's not on my end. So I'm gonna get you out of the scene, and then you should be able to find it quickly enough. Okay, so I still hear Gary, and I still see Gary, so I'll know when he fully finds it. but then, but none of you guys. Did you find it? It's probably really hard off the phone. It's probably a lot easier on the computer. I mean, well, I wish I could, but for some reason, I mean, unless I can do it this, yeah, let me kicks. Yes. Yeah, for some reason. Um, yeah. Well, let's see what this does. It should be in there somewhere. You know who could tell you is Lewis. He does it. He's been on here a few times. Carries. I mean, the only other way that we if you have pen and paper, I can just tell it to you. We can actually do it the old-fashioned way. Well, that I can't help you with. All right, TPRUETT40 @gmail.com. Oh, Lewis says to click your name, and then you should just be able to click out, log out. Look under your no slow. Okay, so that didn't work, Lewis. All right, I'm going to bring you back on and see if I can find how to kick you off fully. All right, so you're going to come back on the show. Hold on one second. All right, you are, according to this, you're offline. Oh, there you are. Okay, so let me
I'm
see.
trying to read this.
Let me look around and see if I see anything. Mute at name.
Click in line. Click
Just
in there.
removed from scene, but it doesn't say anything about you logging off. You know what? There is one trick you can do. Just close your
Turn the
computer,
video off.
turn the video.
Yeah, I kill that app.
Just,
So my phone.
just take.
3, 2, 1. See you.
Okay. Well, he's still there, but he doesn't have his camera on or his microphone. You are special, Lisa. And Gary, yes, I kidnapped Gary, Terry Sue. The Hotel California. He is gone. Gary has left the building. So, at your own risk, I'm going to put in one more time. We got about 20 minutes. At your own risk, if you want to come on here and say hello, by all means. All right. That is the one thing from this NVUMX. It doesn't give you an easy way out. It doesn't give me the ability to just kick you out altogether. So unless, yeah, no, still doesn't. So I'm just doing one test. I want to see what the share screen is that comes up. Okay, so I'm not sure what exactly it's sharing the screen with. Window, live stream, and then entire screen. So I will learn. It'd be nicer if share screen meant like sharing the files or sharing like drawings or stuff like that. I would think that that's what it meant, but it doesn't really seem to be doing that. So, but let's look at share media. Is that something different? Okay. So this is probably not the best computer to test these things out. Ah, all right. So I'm going to put up a picture that I just see if it shares. Okay. And I'm going to put it onto the thing for you guys. And it's just basically okay, I don't know why, but it actually didn't do anything. So I don't know why the picture's not coming up. All right, so exit media share. I was able to put it in, but for some reason it didn't actually take the picture. So how's everybody doing? That came on while me and Gary were chatting. Terry B, hello Terry B, how we doing? And Bill Cook. How's everybody doing today? Okay, so you guys are able to talk amongst yourselves, which is great. That's one of the reasons why we're here, correct? So I hope that that you guys are inclined to, we could set the dates and stuff, and just go from there. I hope you guys wrote down my email address, because I'll be honest with you, if one of the main reason why I'm doing the lives is for that reason. And if I don't know if I'm going to continue with the way the computer is and everything like that. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do the lives. So I need to have people, so I have those small interviews. No, you don't have to come on here today, Terry. We'll make. I'd rather do it. So you're prepared. Unless you want to wear a robe that day, but that's totally up to you. Same thing. 45 minutes from Virginia Beach. Cool. I grew up from 4 to 7. I actually lived in Virginia. I actually my father was from Virginia. He lived in Richlands, Virginia, though, which is like kind of like coal mining country, so nowhere near the beach. Well, near it, but you know what I mean. It wasn't like in the backyard. Let's put it that way. Raleigh, North Carolina. Wow. Okay. You're wearing your teeth. Did I win? Can anybody guess what I'm wearing? All right, so I'm being told I have only about 30 minutes left, a little less on my live, and I'm kind of reaching the threshold of the 30 hours, to be honest with you. So I'm going to have to probably for tomorrow and Sunday. I'm not doing any of the lives, but after that, I'm probably going to have to cut it down to no more than an hour, just to make sure that I can do the rest of the time as much as possible. So. Whatever you feel comfortable in, Sandy. You know, whatever floats your boat. You know. I mean, as you can see, I'm wearing red right now. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but today is uh, one of the members of SBG actually mentioned a while back, and I did a video on it. Today is Red Shirt Day, and red stands for Return Everyone Deployed. So it's pretty much in honor of all the soldiers and everybody that's still out away from home, still been deployed out, in the realm of service, and until everybody's returned home, it's pretty much you wear red every Friday, so it's Red Shirt Day. So I got this new shirt. Um, and actually, I had a shirt very similar to it. It just says "Not Today" and Snoopy on it. And I also have a Bill Knott shirt that that I have. So I have two red shirts. So that way I don't have to wear the same one every week. But yeah. I mean, the honor. I mean, I never was able to be military, but my father was in the army. My grandfather, both grandfathers were. Matter of fact, my one grandfather lost his leg. He developed diabetes later on, but he lost his full leg in the army. As a matter of fact, he used to play a joke on all of us kids when we were younger. He used to have a hole in his pants, and he had there's like a kind of on the hinge of the leg, like where the knee was, and he used to take a stick and poke it through the hole and poke it right through the leg. And you know, we were like 4 or 5, so we were really young, and be like, "Oh my god!" But me and my sister knew exactly what was going on, but our friends would always be tricked by it, because they didn't know he had a wooden leg, because his leg was like mahogany wood, you know. So that's pretty cool how we find people that live near us and everything like that. Um, you just never know. You just never know. I mean, the closest person that I know of, well, I know a few people. Well, it depends how you look at it. I've heard, like read a few people that live even in New Jersey, but the only one that I talk to regularly that lives the closest that they live would be Lewis. He lives in New York. I mean, I'm guessing he's probably at least 2-3 hours away, but he lives in New York. And Tanya, Kitchen Witch, she lives in Philly, unless she moved. But last time I checked, she lived in Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia. So you know, but I don't really know too many people that live. You know, I almost lived in Asheboro, um, North Carolina. Big long story, but just obviously I'm not there now, and we never actually moved there. We almost moved there, but I mean the rent was like so much cheaper than is in New Jersey. Okay. So show of hands, who's still here? Who did I not kick out? You kind of cool, like when you look and see like how many people are watching. If it actually gave you a list of how many people are at least in the chats. Because I mean, I could scroll down, but I wouldn't know if somebody left or came back or anything like that. So you just have so instead of grass, feral grandma, you just have weeds all over your yard. Is that what you're saying? Like, just keep them there. Okay. So is there so does anybody have anything good planned for the weekend besides watching Rick on Saturday and Mitch on Sunday? And for some of us doing the Great Steak Escape tonight, it's at 8 o'clock. All right. Well, it kind of seems like everything's kind of slowed down. I do apologize on that. I appreciate everything, and Gary, I'm looking forward to your email, and I hope I get emails from, and if you guys can spread the word, that'd be really great. Like even just like if you know other carnivores that you think would like to come on here. I know I'm not a big channel, I get that, but it doesn't hurt to tell your story. Think of me as like practice, for when you do go on the bigger channel, and I just so hope that you're willing to do, and I'm excited about my next guest, obviously. So, and if you're still here, Alexis, I saw your video. It was really good. It was really, really good. So I you're very nice young lady, and I think the world is promising to you. Just keep up what you're doing. Thanks, Sandy. All right. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. So I'm going to end it here, and yeah, I will see you guys again on my live on Monday. All right. This is Target Prime Rib.